Hello my friends, today we are going to the US state of Texas to see how farming and livestock work here. Although the total value of agricultural products sold in Texas is less than half of that of California, the number of farms in Texas is much larger than in California. According to statistics, in 2021, there are about 248,000 operating farms in Texas, accounting for 77% of the state's land area, and the state's agricultural revenue is about $22.1 billion. Meanwhile, the number of active farms in California is only 69,000, but brings in more than $49 billion in revenue. Currently, the most popular agricultural products in Texas are livestock, cotton, milk, broilers, and corn, of which livestock is the largest revenue earner with about $12.3 billion, accounting for nearly 50% of the state's agricultural revenue. Currently, we are on a cotton farm in San Patricio County. Mid-October to December is the time of harvest for most Texas cotton farms. Billions of cotton balls will be packed into round bales by these harvesters. According to the USDA statistics, in 2021, in Texas, about 5.3 million acres of farmland is used to grow cotton, accounting for 43% of the cotton area in the country. In addition to Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, and Arkansas are the states with the largest cotton growing areas in the country. As reported, by the end of 2021, there are approximately 7,950 active cotton farms in Texas, and the cotton harvest in the state is 7.7 million bales. Each bale weighs about 480 pounds. After harvesting, billions of bales of cotton will be loaded onto trucks and transported to a cotton processing factory. The average annual revenue from the cotton industry in Texas is about $1.7 billion, and cotton is also the largest agricultural crop in the state. In recent years, China has always been the largest cotton producing country in the world, with about 5.9 million tons. In second place is India with 5.3 million tons, and the United States has 3.8 million tons. In addition to cotton production, Texas is also famous for livestock with a scale of up to thousands of animals. This is a goat farm in Hill County, home to more than 600 goats of Spanish origin. Every morning, hundreds of goats here will be herded to the pasture right next to the farm to run freely and feed. Unlike large herds, goats here are not allowed to move to pastures too far from the farm and can only feed within a radius of 1.2 miles around the farm. According to the USDA statistics, in 2021, in Texas, there are about 943,000 goats distributed on more than 1,300 different farms. There are farms that raise both goats and sheep. Currently, the majority of goats in Texas are raised for the purpose of harvesting meat. Goat meat production in the state accounts for 53% of the national production, and goat milk in the United States is mainly produced in California. Goats are considered fully mature when they reach 18 months of age. At this point, the average weight of goats is between 110 and 120 pounds. Each day, an adult goat will need to eat the equivalent of 4% of their body weight, and 80% of their food is grass. In the late afternoon, hundreds of goats at these farms will be herded into stables or protected areas to avoid predators. An estimated 1,100 goats in Texas are killed each year by predators such as coyotes and wildcats. In addition, goat meat factories in the state also slaughter about 630,000 goats each year. When it comes to farms in Texas, we certainly cannot ignore large-scale cattle farms, which number thousands of animals. This is the branding process for calves on a cattle ranch in the south of Texas. Cattle farms that are close together need to brand their calves to avoid confusion during grazing. In addition, this is also considered a traditional activity of the cattle industry in Texas. Unlike herds of goats and sheep, cattle herds in Texas can travel up to 15 miles a day for food, and steady control of the herd is maintained by the cowboys by the use of cattle dogs. According to the USDA statistics, in 2021, there are about 174,000 cattle ranches in Texas, with the total grazing area of up to 97 million acres. This is also the state with the largest number of cattle in the country, with about 10.9 million heads, accounting for 13% of the number of cattle in the United States. Every day, these cowboys will move with their herds across the grasslands within the allowed range. Today, the average Texas cowboy salary is about $33,000 per year. In addition to herds of cattle grazing on pastures, in Texas there are also millions of cattle raised on such farms. Every day, these cattle will be provided with food instead of having to roam the grasslands. Each year, about 4.3 million cattle in Texas are slaughtered. Meanwhile, the number of cattle slaughtered across the country is about 30.1 million heads. Goodbye Cattle Ranch. We will now go to the vegetable fields in Texas to see how the process of harvesting millions of tons of vegetables goes on. This is the process of harvesting asparagus in a field in southern Texas. The end of May and the beginning of June is the time when thousands of migrant workers flock to asparagus farms in Texas to harvest. Every year, the United States has about 25,000 acres of land used to grow asparagus, worth about $98 million. Asparagus, after being harvested, will be placed in plastic trays and transported to the packing factory. In addition to asparagus, cilantro is also a vegetable that is grown quite commonly in the fields of eastern Texas. Every April to September is the time when hundreds of workers from Mexico flock to the fields of cilantro in Texas to harvest. Every year, about 150 to 180 acres of farmland is used to grow cilantro, much less than the 4,000 acres grown in California. Coriander in this field will be cut and bundled into small bundles by dozens of workers before being packed and shipped to vegetable stores. Here's what's going on at a lettuce farm in the Texas city of Houston. According to statistics, in 2021, there are about 119,000 acres of land in the United States used to grow lettuce, of which California accounts for 71% of the country's lettuce growing area, and the area planted to this vegetable in Texas is about 3,700 acres. Millions of lettuce plants will be cut and packed right here in the field before being shipped to shops and supermarkets. It is estimated that each American typically consumes about 12.7 pounds of lettuce per year. How often do you use lettuce in your meals? Hello my friends. Today we will continue to the farms of the United States to see how the process of harvesting some crops here happens. We believe some of the agricultural products harvested in this video will surprise you. The first place we will visit in this video is an olive farm in the San Joaquin Valley of California. Unlike the process of harvesting olives on farms in Europe, here billions of olives will be handpicked by workers from Mexico instead of using machines. Currently, in California, there are 682 olive farms with around 39,000 acres and about 220 farms still using this manual harvesting method. The workers here usually start picking olives from about 8 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. A worker can finish 2 olive trees a day, and their average salary is about $95 per day. After harvesting, billions of olives will be poured into plastic trays and transported to the olive oil factory. According to the California Olive Commission, last year 116 million pounds of olives were harvested and processed in the state, accounting for 75% of the country's olive production. This man is picking grape leaves. Have you ever eaten grape leaves? In California, more than 6,000 pounds of grape leaves are harvested each year for restaurants. Grape leaves are used as a vegetable, and they are used to wrap up some foods such as fish or other meat. Only about 150 migrant workers are hired each year to pick grape leaves, and their wages are around $9 an hour. Here's what's going on at a blueberry farm in Whatcom County in Washington. The beginning of May every year is when about 7,000 workers flock to blueberry farms in Washington to harvest. These workers will pick the ripe blueberries and then put them in a plastic container that they wear across their chest. Currently, in the United States, 103,000 acres of farmland is used to grow blueberries, of which Washington is the state with the largest blueberry growing area, with about 17,000 acres. According to USDA statistics, in 2021, the United States produced 681 million pounds of blueberries, and 163 million pounds were produced in Washington. A harvest worker here usually picks 9 to 12 boxes of blueberries each day, and the price they get per box is $9. The fourth place that we will visit in this video is a cherry farm in California. Do you think these workers are pruning cherry blossoms? Yes, these flowers are being harvested and will be used to make drinks like tea or cherry blossom cocktails. Each year, about 29,000 pounds of cherry blossoms are harvested in the United States for food use. They are not only used to make drinks, some restaurants in California also use cherry blossoms as a vegetable. Once harvested, billions of cherry blossoms will be delivered to restaurants and drink shops. Every day, each cherry blossom picker in California earns about $80 to $100 in salary. Here's what's going on at a barn next to a strawberry farm in Santa Maria, California. Here, workers from Mexico and Guatemala are preparing millions of strawberry roots before delivering them to the fields. Millions of strawberry roots have been shipped here from a nursery, and the job of these workers is to arrange them neatly and then box them. Not only does this serve the growing process on farms in California, strawberry roots here are also sold to strawberry farms in other states such as Florida or Washington. Currently, around 35,000 acres of land is used to grow strawberries in California, and the state's annual strawberry production is 1.1 billion pounds, or 83% of the nation's strawberry production. This is the process of harvesting raspberries in Santa Cruz County, California. The beginning of July each year is the time when more than 2,000 workers flock to raspberry farms in California to harvest. These workers would pick ripe raspberries and put them in small buckets they wear around their waists. For each bucket less than full of raspberries, these workers will receive $7. Currently, in California, around 10,000 acres of land is used to grow strawberries. This is also the state with the largest fresh raspberry production in the country. The last place we will visit in this video is a vineyard in California. Millions of seedless grapes are being picked to produce raisins. Each year, more than 9,000 workers flock to California's seedless grape farms to harvest. This is a tough job, and the workers have to work in hot weather, so the air on these farms is often very dusty. According to the USDA statistics, in 2021, in California, 147,000 acres of land is used to grow raisins, accounting for 23% of the state's grape growing area. Billions of grapes after harvest will be dried on the farm for 3 weeks before being transferred to the processing plant. And here's what they have after 3 weeks. Billions of these grapes have dried up, and now they're sent to the factory for cleaning. Have you ever eaten California raisins? Let us know what you think about these raisins.